This is VSiN By The Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Final hour of the Hump Day edition of VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis alongside Keith Irizarry and for Dave Ross. Keith will be with me today, tomorrow, and Friday. Super Dave, Captain America, Keith as we affectionately refer to him, will be back on Monday enjoying some well-deserved R&R down there at Virginia Beach. One of our favorite segments to do each and every day is right now. Is it news or is it noise?
Is it news?
Corleone is a man who insists on hearing bad news immediately.
Or just noise?
Are you going to act like this is news? Just noise. This is noise.
Let's separate the impactful from the insignificant with one simple question. News or noise?
All right, the hiring and firing of coaches is a long-standing American sports tradition, Keith, and in baseball, it is no different. Always blame the coaches before you blame the players. I'm not biased or anything, but we get a new hitting coach deep in the heart of Texas. The Texas Rangers hiring the old slugger, Brett Boone, to be their new hitting coach. He was in the dugout last night for his first game. Hey, it worked. The Rangers beat the Red Sox, banging out 12 hits last night. They win 6-1 going away. But Keith, I ask you, is it news or noise for Brett Boone to come in this early in the season?
Well, and for our viewers out there, I'll break out the lumber for you. So whenever you are a team of the Texas Rangers ilk and you should be hitting and you're not, it's news that you're not hitting. It's noise that you changed your hitting instructor. Brett Boone is a name we know, but typically changing a hitting instructor is not newsworthy. I'll say it's a bit of noise, but I hope you appreciate the lumber that I brought out.
I certainly do. For yours truly,
I do have another prop for you too.
Oh gosh, here we go.
I have a ball also. I have a ball too, just in case.
I love it. Right now, Texas entering today a 234 team average. That is good for 25th in all of Major League Baseball. 31 home runs. That is what the Texas Rangers have hit. And actually, that's a 20th in Major League Baseball. So that's bottom third. But at least for a night, the Texas Rangers get back on the winning side. They are the second betting choice to win the American League West, Keith, at plus 250. Mariners, the betting favorite right now at plus 110. And again, a team that I think a lot of people may have circled outside of the New York Yankees in a very vulnerable American League West. Remember, the Astros without Kyle Tucker, without Alex Bregman this year, we're going to take a step back anyway. But the Rangers, again, plus $1.05. Tyler Mahle on the hill tonight in their series finale against the Red Sox in Tanner Houck. By the way, some news and noise for people that are just joining us. So yesterday, an incredible night on the ice and also on the hardwood as we get some scintillating finishes in both the NBA and the NHL. Keith, let's start in the NBA. If you were to tell me that the Cavaliers without Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter would have a 14-point lead entering the fourth quarter and almost have scored 100 points against the Indiana Pacers, I would have said you're crazy, but I like it. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and it came crashing down. Another historic comeback for the Indiana Pacers. Just a week ago, they came back from down 7 with 40 seconds remaining. They turned the trick again as Tyrese Halliburton buries the go-ahead game-winning three with just over a second remaining. The Pacers come all the way back from down as much as 20 to win 120-119. They now have a 2-0 series lead headed back to Indianapolis.
But what if I also told you that Donovan Mitchell had 48 points and 9 assists and 5 rebounds? Like, this is it. I get it. The Cavaliers did not have 3 of their very important players on the court. You cannot lose a game in which Donovan Mitchell gives you 48 points and 9 assists and has his Shai Gilgeous-Alexander game in which, 18 for 22, I think, from the free throw line. You cannot lose that game. Now, the Pacers have taken control of the series, Halliburton is saying, hey, Jalen Brunson, maybe I'm Mr. Clutch with, back-to-back series in which he's had game winners. Pacers team seems like there's something special there. And if you want the news or noise mention of this is definitely news. It is headline news. The Pacers are here, and the Cavaliers, they're in trouble.
Yep, Pacers now a minus 205 favorite in the series price. Cavaliers on the comeback plus 175. Game 3 is Friday night in Indianapolis. Cavaliers at the moment a 1.5 favorite, total of 229.5, and obviously all of that will be predicated on what the health status is of those players we mentioned and whether they will suit up. I agree with you, though, Keith, from earlier in the show. I do feel that you get at least one, if not two, of those guys back at minimum, and the Cavaliers will need all the help they can get trying to come back from an 0-2 series deficit. Also, Game 1 yesterday between the Warriors and the Timberwolves. We thought this would be the Anthony Edwards revenge series against Steve Kerr. If you don't know the narrative, Kerr saying all the way back on draft day that Anthony Edwards, you're not going to be a guy that we take here at Golden State. Oh, Anthony Edwards, come out of the gate and miss your first 6-7 shots, a no-show basically in the first half. And unfortunately, even with Steph Curry going down with a hamstring injury in the second quarter, was not available in the second half. The Warriors find a way to get it done. 99-88. Road team wins again in Game 1 of a series here in the second round. Keith, a remarkable performance from the supporting cast here from Golden State. It wasn't otherworldly, but they did enough to be able to get across the finish line. They steal Game 1 for the Timberwolves, and they are poised now to potentially go back with a split. However, what will the status of Steph Curry be, not only for Game 2 tomorrow night, where the Warriors are already a 10-point dog, but what will it be as far as prognosis for the remainder of this series?
This is one where you could legitimately say there are 4 pieces of news. We'll start with Anthony Edwards that you led with. He had scored his first point in the game with 1 minute left in the first half. 0 for 8 from the field, 0 for 3 on threes, 1 for 2 on free throws going to the half. Now in the third quarter, he looked good. He woke up, ends up with 23 points. Maybe everything will turn around. That's a piece of news. Draymond Green hit 4 3-pointers early in the game, and Buddy Hield looked like the second, I guess the cousin. It's not a splash brother, it would be a splash cousin of Steph Curry. That's a second piece of news. A third piece of news was the Timberwolves 0 for the world shooting threes early on, living and dying by the three-pointer. It did not work, and we've seen this recipe for non-success with other teams, Boston Celtics, this postseason. And then the fourth piece of news is Steph Curry. And I left that one for last, Jensen, because it's the one that none of us really want to talk about. None of us want to see any of the stars get hurt. Goes out 13 minutes into the game, had 13 points, was looking really good, by the way. The hamstring strain. Jensen, I'm worried. And if I'm a Warriors fan, I am very worried this morning that I don't know what the status of Steph Curry is going to be. And I'll talk like if I was a Warriors fan right now, if my prince, if my king, if my guy is out, I'm scared that this is not going to go our way. That's the biggest piece of news that came out of this one.
Yeah, and again, Warriors could be without Steph because Game 2 is tomorrow, and already the Warriors 10-point dogs, as we mentioned, total of 202, and remains to be seen what that availability will look like moving forward. 2 games on the docket tonight here, Keith. Knicks and Celtics Game 2. Celtics 10.5-point favorite, 210.5 the total there, and also Nuggets and Thunder. Thunder 11-point favorite, 229.5. Let's start with the Celtics and Knicks real quickly. You feel the Celtics get back on the winning side here, and I know you'll have best bets coming up later in the show on what you like here. But overall, Celtics obviously, as you said, can't miss 45 three-pointers and expect to win.
Yeah, you're not going to miss 45 three-pointers and win a game. Also, I don't believe that the Celtics will lose 45, miss 45 three-pointers again in game number 2. And again, also, like we kind of double back to game number 1 when the Celtics were up by 20 points. It looked like they took their foot off the gas and were like, oh, yeah, little brother New York Knicks. We'll just, beat them around a little bit, give them a noogie, and send them on their way. The Knicks are a good basketball team. They're not a great basketball team. They're a good basketball team. And when you let good basketball teams hang around, or good teams in general in any sport hang around, they get momentum. They get Uncle Mo swinging their way. It happened in game number 1. I don't think the Celtics will allow that to happen here. I think the Celtics, there is a chance they win tonight's game going away. And I think that you're going to see their stars come up big. I think Tatum's going to have a big day because he has to. I think Jaylen Brown's going to have a big day because he has to. I wouldn't be surprised if Porzingis is healthy and can play, if he ends up with a really big first quarter, which, by the way, was a really good play all year long, taking his over in first quarter points. So if he's healthy, that might be something you look at.
36% of the bets, 42% of the handle on the Celtics minus 10.5. So right now, boatload of money, not only on the Knicks plus 10.5, but I mentioned it on the Nuggets plus 11, 62% of the money, 80% of the bet, something that we will certainly watch as it moves forward. Also yesterday, 2 games on the ice. Carolina gets the win in overtime against the Capitals, 2-1. Vegas got out to a 2-0 lead against Edmonton, but it was not for long, as Edmonton would get one more in the first period and then 3 in the final period to go winning away 4-2. The Oilers up 1-0 in that series. Florida and Toronto underway later tonight. Dallas and Winnipeg get their series going as well. I think a lot of good hockey thus far, a lot of great action, a lot of dramatics at the end, particularly in this Carolina and Washington matchup. And we may see some more theatrics here between Florida and Toronto tonight as well. We have got a lot to look at in the NFL, breaking news on a trade, and some win totals when we come back on VSiN.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
Fabulous show thus far here on a Wednesday. VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis and Keith Irizarry in with me today, tomorrow, and Friday. Super Dave Ross going to be back on Monday after vacation. What a day for Super Dave to have off because his beloved Dallas Cowboys, Keith, have made a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cowboys acquiring George Pickens from Pittsburgh for an expected 3rd-round pick in 2026. A 5th-rounder in 2027. Dallas will receive not only Pickens, but also a 2027 6th-rounder from the Steelers. I bring that up with you because we have a couple of intriguing DraftKings markets for season-long win totals. Most regular season wins and fewest regular season wins. Let me first start with the Pittsburgh angle because you brought up a great point where we were talking earlier in commercial break. Is this Pittsburgh situation, now with Pickens departed, yes, DK Metcalf is in, is this now still attractive to an Aaron Rodgers, knowing it's a bit more of a depleted receiver room without Pickens on the other side of DK Metcalf?
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? And I think it's a question worth asking because Metcalf is really good, and you've got a few weapons there in Pittsburgh, but offensively, actually, you opened the. What was the you said it? The young kids said. You said something earlier on in the show. What did you say? I don't remember what the phrase was that you used, but I'll use one. Their offense is mid, right? And that's what some of the young kids would say. Things are mid, right? So with Rodgers coming in, maybe they're a little bit better than that. They've obviously got a very good defense. They have the good pedigree. You have Mike Tomlin. You have add it all. I don't know how enticing this is for Aaron Rodgers. I know with the Pittsburgh Steelers, whether they want to admit it or not to any of us, but I'm pretty sure that they did not draft a Shedeur Sanders or anyone like that because they didn't want Rodgers to think that his heir apparent was there and going to be sitting underneath him for a while. I would say that if Rodgers was already thinking of going to Pittsburgh, I think he'll still go. But if he was wavering, like if he was, let's say, leaning a little bit more towards retirement, or at least not picking a team yet, then I think he would lean more that way today than he did yesterday when Pickens was there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and again, no real big moves, if any, in the futures market here. Cowboys still plus 750 to win the NFC East. Steelers plus 550 to win the AFC North. Both of them are the third betting choices, respectively, in their divisions. And so the Eagles minus $1.40, Ravens minus $1.145 to win both the NFC East and AFC North, respectively. So again, I think also the backdrop, too, of what is the culture shift like and how can the Cowboys take on yet another intriguing personality, shall we say, with George Pickens coming in. You may not know what you get. What we know is that we've got a couple of teams here we can target potentially in this most regular season win market. I'll throw out a couple of to you and interested your reactions here. So the first two that I targeted, not going to surprise anyone, the Bills and the Ravens, just knowing with those offenses, their defensive reinforcements, plus 425 for the Bills, plus 550 for the Ravens. Both their win totals in that 11.5 range. And again, you get to 12 or 13, you're going to be in contention for those most regular season win markets. The value selections are where I'd like to start with you. I threw in the 49ers at 13-1, and I threw in the Rams. And yes, they're both from the same division, but the Rams at 20-1 and the Niners at 13-1. I do think that with Robert Saleh coming back for the Niners, and especially some of the last place scheduling, if you will, that they get with the Giants, the Bears, and the Browns. I know the Bears will be better. But you could have the potential to pick up a couple of quote-unquote cheap wins there. And with the Rams, they're going to be better offensively, knowing that you've got Devontae Adams in the fold now. Puka Nacua obviously will be a featured weapon moving forward. But I think the improvement on the offensive line, if it's there, they could easily be in that 11-12 win market. Those are the ones that I circled maybe from a value perspective to look forward for most wins in the NFL this year.
Yeah, because I think the answer is the Bills, right? So you look at the AFC East, the Jets are not going to be good. I think the Dolphins are going to take a step back and the Patriots take a step up, but I don't think they are that big of an issue for the Bills. They're the answer, but plus 425, not really, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So you're right. Let's find a longer odds team here. So Ravens, no. Eagles 8-1, probably not worth it. Chiefs 8-1, probably not worth it. Your Niners 13-1. I don't believe in them, so I'm going to say no on that one. The Lions at 18-1. I'd be a little bit worried about all the changes with their coordinator, so I wouldn't go there. Let's do it. It's the Commanders. 20-1 odds, and I'm going to be a sucker. I am. I'm readily admitting this because last year we all did the Houston Texans, man. CJ Stroud as a rookie, he could have been an MVP. It's the Texans, right? It's the same recipe again. So the Commanders have Jaden Daniels, who took the world by storm, and in fantasy football is going to be one of the first quarterbacks taken. In real football, people will probably say he's a top 5 or 6 quarterback in the NFL off of one season. You add Deebo Samuel, coaching staff is still good, defense is still good, offensive line is good, you have a run game, you have Terry McLaurin. Like, all of these things lend me to believe that the Commanders are going to be an excellent team. I know the Eagles might be in their way, and that could be an issue here, but at 20-1, that would be the one I would land on.
I love it. And I had them circled as well as, I guess, a quote-unquote long shot with potential. The Packers I had in there as well because, God, the decimation from their wide receiver room last year, yet still Jordan Love and company finding a way to will them to some of those victories into the postseason. Pretty remarkable. You think health, hopefully, is on their side headed in. Conversely now, Keith, as we look at the fewest regular season wins in the race potentially for Arch Manning if he does declare for the draft, also part of the handicap here, but maybe it's just a bit more straightforward. All right. Devout Browns fan, I do not have rose-colored glasses here. They are not a good team, at least from an offensive standpoint, knowing that they do not have an answer yet at quarterback. They've got to figure that out. I don't know if it gets figured out this year. The Giants were the other team that you jump into and you're like, okay, you get the veteran quarterbacks in there. You probably get an upgrade, at least from an offensive standpoint. But what else do we have there in a very top-heavy division, as we know in the NFC East? Back to the mid-range here. We know that some rookie quarterbacks take a little bit of time to onboard. That was not Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders last year. Will that be the case with Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans? This more of a play for me and a handicap on an improved AFC South. They will definitely have that onboarding issue with Cam Ward and the offensive weapons around him. What's the dynamic like out of the gate? And as we know, NFL defenses will find those ways to exploit young quarterbacks, and they may do so. Again, I want to have faith in Pete Carroll, but the Raiders at 14-1 were also one I looked at with outside of Max Crosby on defense. What does that defense look like? Ashton Genty will be great in the backfield, but that division in and of itself, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, oh boy, that could be a struggle to get through the division. And then I'll throw you a couple of dark horses. The Colts at 17-1, you talk about messed up quarterback rooms. What do we get, whether it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson? And then the Steelers. We just talked. Is Aaron Rodgers coming through that door knowing that receiver room is depleted as it is? 35-1 might be worth some pizza money on the Steelers if all hell breaks loose for them.
Oh, Mike Tomlin will not. Mike Tomlin will lace it up and play quarterback if he has to. He will not allow them.
That's the Browns fan of me coming out.
You know what, Jensen? During the next commercial break, you need to take a lap. That is you owe us a lap for that one. All right, so the Browns are probably the answer again, right? The Giants, I think, are going to accidentally win 5 games this year, so I don't think it's going to be them. The Saints are probably a team that are going to struggle this year. Don't know if plus 650 is worth it for me. Jets will be good enough to accidentally win a bunch of games as well. Titans are probably the answer at 11-1. But let's go to the Panthers, 15-1, 15-1 odds. So they finished the season strong. This lies itself on where do you sit on Bryce Young? If you believe that Bryce Young is a starting NFL QB, forget what I'm talking about here, and they're not the answer. But if you are not a believer in Bryce Young, then I think that's a really good number at 15-1 in the NFC South. The Buccaneers are solid. The Falcons are solid. Like, Panthers going to lose a lot of games. So if our number is probably 4 to be the least regular season wins, are you positive the Panthers are getting 5? I'm not.
Good stuff. And an intriguing narrative to follow because you felt that they may have taken a step forward at the end of last year. But let's see how it all works out here in 2025. What we do know that works is when you're a part of Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, all your gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. You get cashback rewards and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code BOOK. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match that deposit. Our very own Adam Burke, managing editor for VSiN.com, will join us next. It is going to be great to get his take on all things MLB and so much more as we roll on here on VSiN by the Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books right here on VSiN.
We roll on the Wednesday edition of VSiN by the Books. Jensen Lewis alongside Keith Irizarry in with me today, tomorrow, and Friday. Shout out to Captain America, Dave Ross, tuning us in from the 757 in Virginia Beach. No, he has not purchased his Super Bowl tickets just yet for his beloved Cowboys. And I would say hold the phone on that. Let's see how George Pickens does at the Star when all those tours are coming around. Anxious to see how that dynamic is.
Amazing.
Keith, we know the dynamic with our managing editor, Adam Burke, is always top of the line. He joins us on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow him on X at Skating Tripods. Buddy, you're a better man than me watching that doubleheader yesterday for the Guardians and for the Nationals. I didn't have it on my bingo card. We'd have the blow up of both bullpens in that scenario here, but here we are. Any takeaways thus far overall, 30,000-foot view here of this Major League season?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm getting pretty worried about Hunter Gaddis in that Cleveland bullpen. I mean, last year, just an extensive workload for a guy who was transitioning from being a starter to being a reliever. And the stuff doesn't look nearly as sharp. I know some of his chase rate metrics are up. Some of his swing and miss metrics are up. But a lot of uncompetitive pitches, I think, from him throughout the course of the season here. And that's the one strength that Cleveland has. So that's getting really, really worrisome to the point where, is it fair to say that Detroit has the chance to run away with the American League Central Division?
Actually, again, that's exactly where I wanted to go. Yeah, that AL Central feels like it's one of. So Jensen and I seem to be more leaning towards the Kansas City Royals figuring it out, but you like the Tigers. Why?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I don't like the Royals. I mean, this is a team where you had Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo, a couple of guys in their mid-30s, basically have career years last year. And I think they're going to wear down throughout the course of the season. You've already seen Lugo's strikeout rate go down a little bit. Well, he pitched well yesterday for the most part. But Wacha's a guy, something's always wrong with him. Lugo, big innings increase for him. Cole Reagan's big innings increase as well, even though he's off to a phenomenal start, especially from a swing and miss standpoint. Maybe Chris Bubich ends up being this year's Cole Reagans for them and kind of helps if Wacha and Lugo fall off the pace a little bit, but that lineup is terrible still. It's Bobby Witt Jr. and a bunch of bums. So I don't think that the Royals are going to do much this season. I hate the Twins. I think they may be selling off here at the trade deadline. So, I mean, to me, it's the Tigers, right? I mean, Reese Olson looks really good. Jack Flaherty looks good. Tarek Skubal obviously is going to be himself as long as he stays healthy throughout the course of the season. And their offense is getting a little bit better. It's kind of getting incrementally better, kind of each passing week, each passing month, where some of the guys that were touted as top prospects figuring it out a little bit. I just think they're well managed. They're well run in the front office now that they've made some changes. The bullpen is pretty good, but I think they can get reinforcements come July. The Tigers may just run away with this division. It's disappointing to say that, but maybe Travis Bazzana comes up for Cleveland. Maybe Chase DeLauder stays healthy for the first time ever. But right now, the Tigers just look a good bit ahead of everybody else in that division.
Yeah, Tigers minus $1.45 favorite at the moment to win the American League Central. I do have a ticket on Detroit to win the American League at north of 13-1. They are down to just behind the Yankees at plus 475 to win the American League. Hell of a job by A.J. Hinch and company getting out to a quick start. Speaking of quick starts, my man, we thought the Red Sox would be able to do that considering the offensive reinforcements. Alex Bregman has been great in spurts. They get shut down by Nathan Eovaldi yesterday. Potential bounce back in your mind here for the Red Sox today with Tanner Houck on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Eovaldi yesterday. That was a play I had Rangers' first 5-run line, and that thing was barely a sweat as Giolito struggled a bit in his second start. But you know what? I think Tanner Houck's looked pretty good over his last 11 innings or so. He struggled in the early part of his start against Cleveland on April 26th, but then really good outing against Toronto. 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. I think he's kind of figured it out on the fly a little bit, and he is a positive regression candidate here as well. 6.38 ERA, 3.95 xFIP. As long as he's keeping the ball in the ballpark, I think he's going to be okay. And Tyler Mahle is a guy that I have to fade at this point in time. I mean, 230 batting average on balls in play, not sustainable. 86.5% left on base percentage, not sustainable. 119 ERA, not sustainable. 344 expected ERA for him. Regression is coming for Tyler Mahle. And when you think about the dynamics of pitching at Fenway Park, this is the type of park where you may end up with one of those starts that kind of forces your numbers to regress to the mean a little bit. Also, this Red Sox lineup, they're very aggressive. They will swing and miss, but Mahle's not really a big swing and miss guy. So to me, I think this is a pretty good spot for the Red Sox offense to deal some of the damage that's coming to Tyler Mahle. So I'll lay the price with Boston here tonight. And again, look, I mean, you got a guy with a 119 ERA, and he's a pretty clear dog in this game. I think the market and the line kind of tells a bit of a story in this one.
How about the Blue Jays and the Angels, the last game on the docket tonight? You got Jose Barrios going for Toronto. It's kind of been up and down throughout his career. And Yusei Kikuchi, 0-4, 4.21 ERA. How would you play it?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I'm not a big Jose Barrios guy. The command profile doesn't always jump off the page to me. We'll give up some hard contact. We'll give up some home runs because he's in and around the zone a lot. But this Angels offense is quite bad, especially without Mike Trout. And when you look at Yusei Kikuchi, I mean, a pretty decent start last time out, 2 runs over 5 innings, both of the runs coming on solo homers against the Tigers. A ton of hard contact for him so far, 11% barrel rate, 42.2% hard hit percentage. And when somebody's struggling for the Angels, I do not expect their coaching staff to figure it out. This is a coaching staff and an organization that is so far behind the times from an analytics standpoint that I don't think they know how to maximize talent. I think every pitcher who gets out of there has a chance at being a lot better. Look at Griffin Canning. By the way, Cleveland Guardians, please trade for Reed Detmers. Please, please, please. I'm begging you. But Kikuchi's a guy that I just don't like. FIP over 5, and the Blue Jays have been very, very good against left-handed pitching so far this season. So I like Toronto there. I know we're laying a number on the road, but I do like the Blue Jays in that one.
Yeah, again, when you look at it right now, $1.25 favorite on the road. Blue Jays with Jose Barrios, 8.5 the total. Yusei Kikuchi plus $1.05 on the comeback. Buddy, let me throw it out to you. Keith and I talked a little bit earlier, and I give you your roses because in the betting guide there at VSiN.com, you had circled Hunter Brown as a guy in the American League Cy Young market that could be a really solid investment. He has been arguably the best starting pitcher in all of baseball, if not the American League this year. How do you handicap where this race is? Because Tarek Skubal running it back this year. Garrett Crochet has been good. Keith very high on Cole Reagans as well. Anybody else stand out in that award market for you on the American League Cy Young side?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier with the Royals and Cole Reagans. And, I saw a really, really good video from Trevor May, former MLB reliever who does a lot of good stuff on his YouTube channel. And he was talking about how some of the prominent young starters in baseball have lowered their arm angles a little bit here. Garrett Crochet being one of them, Cole Reagans being another one, in hopes of staying healthy. There's obviously, I'm sure there's been a lot of study for a very long period of time on how to keep pitcher arms as healthy as possible, because these guys are, significant investments for these teams, and missing a year and a half with Tommy John is, pretty detrimental for both the team and the player. So we've seen these guys lower their arm angles a little bit, and Cole Reagans already has 4 games this season with 10 or more strikeouts. So not only do I think that the lowered arm angle should help him stay healthier, maybe it's adding a little bit more life, a little bit more nastiness to his pitches. So if he's a guy that can stay healthy, 20-1 is a really good grab right now. We've at least seen with the Cy Young that, unlike the MVP, you don't really have to be a playoff team to be in the mix. It helps, if you have voters that are counting wins and stuff like that. But if you can throw 175 innings, put up over 200 strikeouts, have a good ERA, you're going to get votes in this market. And as long as Cole Reagans stays healthy, I'm still not sure that he will, but as long as he does, I think 20-1 right now, at least at DraftKings, is a pretty decent investment on him. The only other guy I could really look at right now is Nate Eovaldi at 25-1, but Eovaldi always misses 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 or 5 starts, something like that on an annual basis. So that's one that would worry me, because this is just an award about staying healthy.
No
quickly sneaking
it.
in NL. Can I just sneak one in? NL MVP.
Yep.
Would you look at any of the Mets? And Alonso, it's plus 650. Soto, maybe to wake up, he's at 16-1.
I think Alonso's tough because, he's running a 371 batting average on balls in play. I don't think that's really sustainable for a guy that has no speed whatsoever. Great contact authority metrics so far this season, but the batting average is going to come down, which will bring all of his other things down. But he's off to a phenomenal start for a team that is very, very prominently featured right now, getting a lot of headlines, deservedly so. Alonso's one that I think makes some sense, but honestly, Juan Soto at 16-1, he's going to figure it out at some point, put it all together. He's way too good of a player to do that. But guys, the second Shohei Ohtani steps on the mound, he probably wins MVP, right? Unless he's very bad when he's on the mound, probably wins MVP, even if it's only 50 or 75 innings with an ERA in the mid-3s. Like, he's just a unicorn. It's hard to pick anybody outside of him unless there's some voter fatigue.
Yep, I totally agree, buddy. Always a pleasure catching up with you and continue great work. Yes, bet against the Colorado Rockies every single game. Great article up there on VSiN.com. He is Adam Burke, our managing editor at VSiN.com. Follow him at Skating Tripods on X. Best bets coming up. Keith's got a couple of great angles for you to take a look at in the NBA, and I got some more on the ice. Join us when we come back on VSiN By The Books.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
Final segment of the Wednesday edition of VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis, Keith Irizarry in for Dave Ross. Keith will be with me tomorrow and Friday as we close out the week. Usually we have Wes Reynolds with us on Wednesday, was not able to make it for us today. But for those of you just tuning in for the Truist Championship, he has got Xander Schauffele 16-1, Patrick Cantlay at 21-1, along with Keegan Bradley at 50-1, Justin Rose at 75-1. Those are his highlights from usually our Wednesdays with Wes. So just for people tuning in wanting to know, hey, where's Wes today? Those are his highlights for the Truist Championship coming up
he didn't want to be here with me. That's what I heard. I'm not sure what I did, but apparently Wes didn't want to hang out with me. That's my fault.
Well, fortunately, everybody. we will be able to get some early action on that one as the first round will get underway tomorrow. But right now, time for our best bets, brought to you by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. Buddy, I know we were targeting the Knicks and Celtics game earlier today. Celtics down 1-0 in that series. They will look to try and get the equalizer tonight. You have a particular player that you are targeting in this game for your best bet.
Yeah, let me start it off by saying I think the Celtics win, and I think the Celtics might win going away. So, how do they get there? Is it Tatum? Maybe. Is it one of the other stars? Potentially. But I think it is one of the secondary stars in Jaylen Brown. And some people will say maybe he's an absolute stud. But anyway, I'm going to go over 21.5 points. Best I could find was minus 110 on BetMGM. It was a bad game one for Jaylen Brown. He still ended up with 23 points. 1 for 10 from deep. I don't think that happens. He'll do better than that. Also, Jaylen Brown was preaching afterwards, we need to get to the basket. Who's the guy to do that? It's Jaylen Brown. So back-to-back games of 23 points. He averaged 22.2 during the regular season. I think 21.5 is a gimme for Jaylen Brown. So hopefully I didn't just put the kibosh on that one. I also mentioned if Porzingis is playing, I would look at his first quarter point total. It is something he has done very well all season long. And I'll just sneak in a lean here. So if you want a little extra action in the nighttime NBA game, I don't know how you bet against Jokic. And the books are giving us plus money on a triple-double. I saw FanDuel had plus 120. DraftKings has it at plus 135. It's the best that I could find. So a triple-double for Jokic. You could look at the player combo, like over 55 points, rebounds, assists. That's a really big number. But a triple-double of 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists could definitely happen. So let's go with Jokic. Triple-double, a strong lean because of the plus money.
Absolutely love it. And by the way, both those games right now, Celtics 10.5-point favorite, 36% of the bets, 43% of the handle. So a lot of people wanted to jump back on the Knicks to potentially cover, if not win that game. The Thunder, it's even more of a stark contrast. 20% of the bets, 37% of the handle. Thunder 11-point favorites headed into those games tonight. By the way, if you want to get action on those games, the GBank Visa Signature Card is the way to go. Most credit cards will treat sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances, but GBank treats those transactions as purchases, and you're saving up to 3 to 5% of those cash advance fees on those gaming transactions just right there. Also, GBank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all those eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions, and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSiN.com/GBank. All right, in the association, I will also jump on the Thunder at minus 11. I do believe that they will find a way to win this one going away. Not necessarily, Keith, that the Nuggets punt. I do think Jokic gets his, but I think the Thunder have that sense of urgency, and I think they want to kind of atone for what happened in that fourth quarter. So again, one of those things where You look at what happens from game 1 to game 2, adjustments that can be made. The Thunder, 11-point favorites. I will back them tonight. The night on ice, I think you and I perhaps aligned here on Florida. Panthers on the puck line is where I locked in yesterday at plus $1.95 in Toronto. Currently, right now, if you look at the pricing, a minus $1.42 favorite. The Panthers are as the road favorite. Another home dog yet again. The Leafs at plus 120. Also, game 1 of the Stars and the Jets tonight, Keith, as they get underway. But let's focus on that Panthers game right now as they will look to try and equalize this series 1-1 before they head home to Sunrise, Florida.
So I'm looking at this and I'm following along with your plays here. One, I like the Panthers to win tonight, like you do as well. I don't know if Stolarz is going to play for the Leafs. I'm not as high on Woll in net for the Leafs. I think the Panthers are going to find a way to win tonight. I actually think the Panthers end up winning this series. You have been pretty successful with some parlays as of late. So I'm looking at some of the things you have. So if I do Thunder on the money line, I know it doesn't pay out well. Just follow me along here. Then we're going to take the Panthers on the money line. We're going to take the Stars and the Jets. We're going to go under because I know you like that. And I got to add in one of my plays. And then we're going to find ourselves into something good. I think right now that already gets us into plus money, plus 306. Let's throw in, we'll throw in Jaylen Brown. You cool with that?
Yes, let's do it. What do we got?
All right. So Jaylen Brown to get his point total. And that gets us to plus 650 for a 4-legger. So that would be the Thunder win, the Panthers win, Stars and Jets are under 5.5. I don't know how I feel about that one, but I'm rocking with you. And then we got Jaylen Brown over 21.5 points gets us to plus 650.
Wow.
Not terrible.
All right. Hey,
not bad.
Let's hope we start tomorrow with a picture of that winning ticket because that would be a clean sweep of our G-Bank best bets. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so as we look towards MLB today, a lot of day games that get underway. Just a couple of early angles for people looking to get some early action. Guardians and Nationals will have their series finale beginning at 12:05 Eastern. That is Logan Allen against Michael Soroka. Guardians minus 122 on the money line at DraftKings, minus 135, as you can see if you're watching on the VSiN Watch app, minus $1.35 there at Circa. What do we make of kind of where this Central is now? I know we've harped on you and I liking the Royals. I think you and I both believe that they will get it figured out. Detroit has been ridiculous. One caveat, by the way, when we're looking at this division market, the Guardians are 10-3 against the American League Central so far this year. They have yet to play the Detroit Tigers. So anxious to see, Keith, what those head-to-head matchups might do. And right now, the Guardians, a minus run differential or a negative run differential, I should say.
Minus 16.
They're a top 3 team. Yeah, they're a top 3 team record-wise, but is this kind of smoke and mirrors with maybe a little bit of luck on their side thus far?
Yeah, I'm not as high on the Guardians this year as some people are. I know a lot of people think they're going to figure it out. I think they win today. I think they, Soroka, in his 7.2 ERA, I think the Guardians win today and potentially win going away. Not sure what they are going down the road. Just kind of looking at some other games like Giants and Cubs. Robbie Ray on the mound for the Giants. You could look at his strikeout prop. I think that's something to look at. Your boy Brian Wu, I think he's someone to pay attention to. Mariners at the Athletics. I think you take a lot of overs on Wu. You could take an over on his outs. You could take an over on his strikeouts at 5.5. And the Mets have lost a couple of games. They're going to win today against Arizona. Merrill Kelly's a really good pitcher. Senga's going to have a good afternoon. Mets win today.
I really am loving.
You don't agree with me.
You know what? I think that. Okay, do we believe that Senga and the rotation for the Mets can have staying power? And again, I do like the offense. The top 3, as good as it gets in baseball with Lindor and Soto and Alonso. Do we have staying power for the Mets rotation? Because they've been phenomenal. And again, as a former pitcher, I know how hard it is to do that. Is that a rotation you can buy stock in for the long term, or do we see some regression to the mean, whether it be injuries or maybe some inconsistencies?
Yeah, I mean, the Mets also have had the 5th easiest schedule in Major League Baseball this year. So, yes, there is regression to be had. I think they're a very good team. They're not an elite team, but a very good team can make the playoffs.
Buddy, great to be with you today. Let's say we do this again, same time, same station tomorrow and Friday. We'll do a little casual Friday. I know we were talking Tank Top Thursday. Don't know if the VSiN Watch app people want to see that one just yet, but we are strapping, gentlemen. We would make it look good. That is the Wednesday edition of VSiN By The Book. Stay tuned. Once we are done here, top of the hour, a numbers game with Gil Alexander. Jake Hahn will be on today to give his best bets in the NHL. And, of course, Money Moves with Stormy Bonatoni and JBT at noon Eastern, followed by Prop Points with Nick Whalen and Jeff Erickson, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.